Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Morning.
Good morning. And this is the sentencing, correct? All right, so, excuse me. So this is the sentencing. What ends up happening is someone has entered into a plea bargain agreement and probation will prepare a pre-sentence investigation report. It's just it's the person's entire background, the criminal history, if they have any. And then the state or the defense will get a chance to present whatever witnesses or evidence they want presented. All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 007421 State versus Johnny Ruiz Jr. Can I have parties announced for the record? State, defense,
Ray Lopez for the defense.
and are you Mr. Ruiz?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you entered a plea on January 28th of no contest to the offense of collision involving death. According to your plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 10 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. The state is opposed to your applications, and there's to be restitution to the next of kin of the deceased. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state? Yes. Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state? Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Any witnesses, state? Defense, any witnesses?
To Your Honor, my client and his employer, who's going to be very brief.
Oh, well, it can take as long as it takes, but,
Two witnesses. Your
all
Honor.
right, who would you like to call, counsel?
I'll call Mr. Reese.
All right, Mr. Ruiz, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
It's Johnny Reese Jr.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you're here today asking the court for probation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell the court in your own words kind of what happened that day of the incident?
I had just gotten off of work that day. Headed to a friend of mine's. We were supposed to catch up on a video game. That's what we did most of the night. From there, we got something to eat before we got any later, anything closed down. We ended up getting some Fred's fish that day. I believe they took a little bit longer. I fell asleep on a nap waiting for them. From by the time they got back, I noticed it was already late. That's the ice, what they brought. From there, I took off home for where we were staying at, where I was staying at. And during that moment, something happened and ended up. Sorry. Noticed I had hit something. Wasn't too sure what it was. The fact that it was dark in that area. Drove a little bit further down, stopped. Before I saw the light, I believe there was a hotel there. Figured maybe I'd stop there just in case you did see anything or anything happen. I was able to offer help, honk the horn, something. Rolled my window down, I didn't see anything. Didn't see nothing. I didn't hear nobody. Assuming that may have struck an animal or something. So I left, got to where I was staying at, and I saw there was damage on the windshield, of course. I didn't see anything, that indicated that there's a person, a dog, an animal. I'm pretty sure if I would have hit an animal or something, I would have saw blood or whatever the case is. But didn't see anything that I figured. I was like, maybe somebody threw something in my car or something. I mean, if there was nothing wrong, that's when I started thinking negative, and I would have stopped there, something would happen to me. Somebody did throw something in my car. At that point, I figured that would have been okay. I didn't see nobody. Next morning, I knocked on the door. It was a detective and told me that there had been an accident. I might have been involved in something, an accident that happened down the street. I just couldn't, couldn't believe it. It just said it wasn't an accident under a person. I asked, was everything okay? Were they okay? The detective assured me that the person was fine. I picked him up. He was in the hospital. That he was going to be fine. Except they took me in that day as well. So just, I guess, to the interrogation room or wherever they take me. They just asked me what happened that night. Same thing that I'm saying now. From that point, like I said, the detective assured me that he was going to be fine. He was okay. They just needed to find out what happened. Also told me that he was in the wrong because he was in the street. As far as what he told me, I didn't see who it was or what it was. He told me that it was a person. It just upset me. I just wouldn't think in my right mind it would have been somebody there walking in the middle of dark alley.
So when did you come to learn that the person that you hit in the collision ultimately passed away?
It wasn't until a few months later I had learned that he passed away 2 weeks after it had been struck.
And how do you feel about it? I mean, can you tell us what your mind was going through when you learned that information?
Horrible. I gotta live with
I'm sorry, what?
something that I have to live with. It's a terrible feeling.
Do you still think about it to this day?
Think about it every day. Every day. Can't go to sleep. There's times when I stay up till 4, 5 in the morning. I gotta go to work the next day. I gotta work through it. It bothers me every day.
Why do you feel that you're a good candidate for probation?
I have a family. I mean, I have my kids. I have an obligation to support my kids. I love them a lot. After being away from them, not being able to help them, provide food, I've gotten, try to, with the state as well, ask them, is there any way they can pay any type of restitution? As well, kind of take responsibility for what's going on. And for the court to grant me probation, I can continue to do my best to, to work.
Now, have you been employed? How long have you been employed for?
For the past year, I think I started in February. So it's a little over a year already.
And where are you employed at?
It's a company, it's a landscaping company.
And do you know if you'll be able to continue your employment after, if you get put on probation?
Yes. Sure I will.
And aside from your children, do you have any other family members that you're helping to they rely on you?
Well, I mean, at the time right now, it's, my kids, my mother's sick, other than that, she's disabled. So, I mean, I'd really like to get to be more involved with her as well.
And have you had any criminal, have you ever been arrested in the past 20 years?
No.
And you
I've
haven't,
never been arrested.
and how old are you?
38 years old.
Okay, so you had a few incidences when you were a minor.
Well, I believe so. I think it was, in middle school. No, there was one incident that I went to juvie for a day or so. I can't remember how long it was.
But since you've been an adult, you have not had any issues with the law until
No.
this incident. Last witness.
Any questions?
Yes, Judge. So Mr. Ruiz, at the time of the offense, you were staying at a roadway inn that was located on Enrique Barrera Parkway, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so the accident happened somewhere on Old Highway 90, is that correct?
Yes.
And so those locations are kind of close to each other, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you kind of give me an idea? You said that you stopped at a hotel. Did you stop at the roadway inn or a different hotel?
Well, I mean, where I was staying, I can't remember what it was called. I think there's several hotels that were there. I stopped at the very first one. Like I said, where I saw that there was some kind of light. Because it was dark in that area.
Okay, so you stopped at a different hotel, not the hotel that you were staying at.
No. Stopped at a different hotel. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so regarding your vehicle is a relatively small vehicle, correct?
Yeah.
It was a smart passion, like a smart car, is that correct? Okay, and so it had a good amount of damage to it, wouldn't you agree with me? So it had the broken windshield concentrated on the passenger side, right?
Yeah.
And then it also had passenger side body damage, correct? And then the broken or the headlight on the passenger side was also broken. And then the passenger side mirror was also missing. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay. And so in the PSI and in your testimony today, you said that there's a lot of dogs in the area. Is that correct? Okay. And so you said possibly you thought that you hit a dog.
Yes.
The evidence that I've seen in the case suggests to me that when the complainant was hit, the body flew up onto the windshield, causing that impact. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And so if you were to hit a dog, obviously a dog is not as tall as a human, right? And so if you were to hit a dog, you would have felt the impact of rolling over the dog, right?
Possible, but for that type of vehicle, and it's so low to the ground and tiny, anything hits that windshield goes up.
Okay.
Because it's such an incline, that smart car.
So you think it's possible if you would have hit a dog that the dog also would have flew up onto the,
As well.
okay. And so then I have some other questions. So you said the first time that you learned that you were involved in a collision involving a person was when the detective came to the hotel. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And before the detective took you downtown to take a statement from you, he kind of spoke to you at your hotel room, right?
Yeah.
And so when he was speaking to you at that point, you told him that you believe that the damage to your vehicle was caused by a tree that had fell on the vehicle, right? Okay. And so you weren't forthcoming with him at that time, right? Okay. And regarding who is Cecilia Rodriguez?
That was supposed to be my wife or my ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
At this time.
And is she the mother of one of your children?
Yes.
Okay. And so she has no reason to say anything false against you, right?
She should have.
Okay. And she was staying with you at the roadway and at that time, right? All right. And so Cecilia stated that she confronted you. So Cecilia noticed the damage, right, that night?
No, she didn't go out that night. She didn't see nothing that night.
Was it in the morning that she
was in
saw
the
it?
morning.
Okay, and so when she sees the damage to the vehicle, she confronts you about it and you tell her you don't know what happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then she stated that based on what she saw, she believed that you hit something, right?
I don't know exactly what she said. No.
Okay, so if that evidence is stipulated too, so I'll just move on. But Cecilia also stated that she believed that you looked inebriated on that day when you returned to the hotel room that night. Were you under the influence of alcohol or drugs?
No.
Why would Cecilia say that?
I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, because she wasn't even present of anything. You know, when I walked in, trying to figure out what was going on, undressed myself and got in some, you know, my sleep clothes.
Mhm.
I didn't really even talk to her that much. I
Yep.
mean, when I got there, she was already asleep. When I, you know, you got a key card to walk in.
Mhm.
So she was asleep. Like, I don't see why she would say.
Okay, and then who's Edward Vargas?
That's a friend of mine that was, well, at the time was a friend. He was in the vehicle as well.
Okay, and so does he have any reason to say anything false against you? Okay, so my question is, why would Edward Vargas and Cecilia Rodriguez say that you told both of them that you saw something on the news regarding a hit and run?
That was afterwards.
That was in the morning, right?
Yeah, that was in the morning.
Before the police showed up at your hotel?
Like,
Okay, so you had some knowledge of what was going on, correct?
yes.
All right, and just going back to Cecilia, she stated that you stated to her that you hit someone, and when you told her that, she rolled back over and went into bed.
I didn't talk to her as much as, you know, she was already in bed when I got there.
Okay, so all those other facts are correct. She was at the hotel room, she was in bed, she was asleep, she woke up briefly, but just not what you said it was not.
Understand why, how something like that would come about.
Okay,
I mean, when I got to the hotel, they were asleep. She was asleep. Kid, my son was asleep.
mm-hmm. Then later on, when you are talking with the detective, you state that you were driving the vehicle on the night of the offense and that you swerved to avoid hitting something on the side of the road and didn't stop, correct?
Yes.
But you were driving that vehicle that night, correct? You were the one that was involved in the collision that caused the death, correct?
Yes.
And you weren't exactly forthcoming in the investigation, right?
And at the time when he asked me these questions, I didn't know where he was going with it. So there might have been a little defense on my end, yes.
Okay. And then I know you said to this court that the court should grant you probation because you have family and kids that you have to provide for. I mean, do you think that's fair? The victim has kids that he can't provide for or be there for. Do you think that is fair?
I was of the understanding that he didn't have any kids.
Well, he does, and they're here today. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Any further questions?
None of this witness, Your Honor.
All right, you may call your next witness.
Deal. Call Mr. Pahalto.
Oh, hello, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
All
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Sir, how do you know Mr. Reese?
He's been working for me for a little bit over a year.
And how is he employed? In what manner of work?
He's we avoid a landscape company, landscape and irrigation company. He works with one of the crews.
Okay, and how have you known him to be as a person while he's been under your employment for the past year? And
It's been 13 months, so since he's been honest, reliable, he goes to probation and he comes back to work the same day, 9:30, the latest, the time.
will he continue, if he is granted probation, will he continue to be employed through your company?
Yes, sir.
And if he is granted probation, are you willing to work with him to have him do whatever classes, community service hours, whatever conditions the court imposes? Are you willing to work with the schedule so that those can be, he can complete those?
Yes, sir.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Any questions?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you so much for coming down. All right, Mr. Ruiz, I just have a few questions if there are no
Yes, ma'am.
objections. All right, so in the stipulations, when the officer comes to the hotel, you say that you said that a tree caused the damage to your vehicle?
Yes.
All right, so you're saying you thought that or what?
Well.
Did a tree fall on your vehicle?
No,
So why did you think a tree caused damage to your vehicle?
at that time that night, I felt like. When I didn't see anything that the next morning. Was
No, I'm just wondering,
I didn't know what he was going with it, Your Honor. I thought maybe I was, at that point getting blamed for something else that I.
so did you know a tree had not fallen on your vehicle or caused damage to your vehicle?
Yes, I did. It didn't.
So you knew that it wasn't a tree? I need yes or no.
Yes,
All right, and then according to the stipulations, there were 2 pedestrians in the roadway. So did you see any of those pedestrians? And then it states that this Rodriguez person, they're stating in the stipulations that you stated you did a hit and run and that you hit somebody and then you rolled over and went back to sleep. So did you ever tell that person you hit someone?
No.
So why would they say that?
no,
Okay.
I mean, I didn't speak to her that night. When I got there, she was angry because I got there late.
Mhm.
But as far as physically talking to her, like I said, she was already in bed. My son was already asleep.
All right, thank you. All right, any further questions?
No question, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to find you guilty. The court is going to sentence you to 10 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's a $2,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. There's to be restitution to Francisco Aldaco, and that is to be payable to his next of kin, which is Juanita Aldaca. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. Anytime that somebody does time in prison or Bear County Jail or in custody is a lot of time. But you still have more of your life in front of you to be a better person. You understand? All right.
Judge, we have victim impact.
All right. So what's going to end up happening is someone's going to speak to you. Just internalize what's being said, okay?
Judge, we would ask the court to maintain jurisdiction over this, see if we come back in 6 months.
No.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, you may proceed. All right, no gum chewing. All right. Surrender the gum. No, well, we were always told don't swallow gum. It will mess with your intestines.
Right.
I don't know if it's true, but I've been terrified ever since, so I just don't do it. All right, so where are we on discovery?
Judge, this is the first setting. We do have discovery. I'm not sure if we're missing anything at this point.
All right, was an offer tendered?
Yes, Judge.
All right, and sir, how old are you? All right, Ms. Ferguson, if you can set this in 3 weeks for a plea deadline date, please.
Yes, ma'am. Can we do a little bit after that? The 17th works.
All right, your plea deadline date will be April 17th. Your attorney will explain to you what that means, and you need to make sure that you're on time next time. You understand?
Are you late for me? Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. Once you sign the reset form, you excuse.
Okay.
Ray De La Rosa? Yes. Are you all ready to proceed?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 007567 State versus Ray De La Rosa. Can I have parties announced?
Andrew Harris Adelman for the state.
Attorney John Garcia for defendant, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. De La Rosa?
Yes.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your clients?
I did, Your Honor.
Court will find the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. De La Rosa, did you review the community supervision application with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Judge. In the second paragraph, state moves to orally amend 13th of February 2009 to 13th of March 2007.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. De La Rosa, do you understand that's a substantive change to the indictment? And with that substantive change, your attorney has 10 days to prepare for trial? And do you wish to proceed? All right. Did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? You're charged with driving while intoxicated, third or more. That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand by entering into this plea, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor, he was.
Mr. De La Rosa, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to end this plea? Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented? Are you a U.S. citizen? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 6 years in the prison, and the state recommends community supervision. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes, Judge.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 6 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 20 hours of community service restitution, 2-year driver's license suspension, and 10 days in the Bear County Jail as a condition. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence.
Contained in Exhibit 1 and attachments, Judge.
Your Honor, I went over those documentation with my client. We have no objections.
All right, state you may be excused.
Yes, Judge.
Did you review the waiver and consent to stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there'll be no live testimony. Did you understand? Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments. The court has reviewed the same. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your
Yeah,
client?
additionally, Your Honor, since my client has been under supervision of the court, he's done everything the court has asked him to do, what the court has asked. Additionally, there was a period of time where he was in Bear County Jail for 42 days. We're asking if he can get credit for that for the 10 days.
Mhm.
If not, if he could be placed under house arrest for the 10 days. He's been on a monitor and he's been monitored by the court, and he has said has no violations since that time.
All right. Are you employed?
Disabled.
All right. And what is your disability?
Vision, my blood pressure, diabetes,
All right. So when did the vision happen?
5 years ago.
All right. That 5 years ago. And this is 2024 offense date.
I believe so, Your Honor.
All right. You shouldn't be driving then.
No.
So I'm going to order no driving. And if you want your live driver's license restored, you'll need to go to municipal court, and you'll need to have a doctor verify that legally you're allowed to drive as far as your vision is concerned. So the court is going to sentence you to 6 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 6 years. There's regular reporting by Zoom or in person, 2-year driver's license suspension, DWI education, VIP live, a referral to felony drug court, and a TAP evaluation. Follow recommendations, regular random UAs. There's to be no driving until cleared by medical professional. And for the record, that's due to his vision. There's to be ignition interlock until further notice. 20 days GPS in lieu of 10 days in the Bear County Jail. And that will be full GPS, waive fees, field visits 1 time per month for 6 months, 80 hours of community service restitution, proof of employment or disability within 45 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors, and 120 sober meetings in 120 days. And that can begin after the 20-day GPS. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Okay. Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
Just additionally, Your Honor, I had put in the motion for the waiver of the DPS fees.
Oh, I granted the waiver of GPS.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. All right. All right, who is here on Malachi Balcom? All right, if you can come here. All right, if you have your client come down. Court is calling 2025 CR 0000447 State versus Malachi Balcom. Could I have parties announced?
Megan Galloway for the state.
Michael Bellama for Mr. Balcom.
And are you Mr. Balcom?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you? All right. And this is an application probation. Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes.
Sir, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, we do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with unauthorized use of a vehicle. That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Judge.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Judge.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, sir, I understand.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Balcom, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Anyone promise you anything other than the plea?
Okay.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented? Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Judge.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at an $800 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. They're taking in consideration 2025 PF 02927, and there's the restitution and no contact with the complainant. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Judge.
Defense is at the plea?
Yes.
State?
It is, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, ma'am.
Outside the agreement, the state is recommending that your community supervision be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation, community service restitution, and no contact with the complainant. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Judge.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? State, any evidence?
State offers states one in attachments.
No objections?
All right, state, you may be excused. Did you review the waiver and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Judge.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Judge.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand that the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations? Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments. The court has reviewed the same. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Just ask that you follow the plea bargain, ma'am. He has expressed to me a desire to possibly enter the military when this is over. I explained to him about the non-disclosure. I don't believe he's talked to any recruiters yet, but he has hope that this will not prevent him from entering.
All right. How far did you go in school?
I graduated high school.
All right, why are you out taking vehicles and things that don't belong to you?
I just want to say that I understand the consequences of what I've done.
No, I mean, everybody understands the consequences once they're at the Bear County Jail, but why are you taking things that don't belong to you?
Didn't steal a car.
Oh, well, you were with the car and in the car, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And the steering column was damaged, so that means that somebody stole the car.
Yes.
And so why are you doing this?
It was parked in front of my house, and I didn't know to call the police.
So you just said, hey, there's a car parked in front of my house. Obviously, somebody has stolen it because the steering column is damaged. So what's the next best thing that I can do that makes sense to me? Oh, let me just drive around in it.
I was gonna drive around. I was just gonna move it out from the front of my house.
Oh, because you're at the apartment complex and you don't want it in front of your home.
It was in an apartment complex at the dead end. I live at a dead end.
Oh, so it was at a dead end.
Yes, ma'am.
And you just felt, you know what, let me do a good deed today and move this car. Doesn't make sense, but okay. Now you have this case, and let me just tell you, things come and go. And the amount of time that you've been at the Bear County Jail, you have to ask yourself if it's going on this little joyride, damaging a vehicle that now you're gonna have to pay for, is it worth it? So what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life as far as your education is concerned?
I'm gonna go to school for barber college, which I've been cutting hair for about a year now.
Okay. All right, the court is going to sentence you to the following: 4 years deferred adjudication. There's to be no contact with John Olvera, Olvera, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, taking consideration 2025 PF 02927, restitution 2, and no contact with Ana Luisa Esquivel. There's to be an $800 fine that will be probated. Field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. Do you have any children? Thank you. There's proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There is going to be 120 hours of community service restitution. That will be waived if you obtain some sort of trade school certification or complete some higher level of education. There should be a TAP evaluation out of custody, follow TAP recommendations. Probation, is there anything else?
Judge, will you, the no contact on John, can you give me the last name again, please?
Olvera.
And nothing else on my end, Judge.
All right, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, Judge, thank you.
You're welcome. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it
Yes,
and
sir.
sign it? Because this is plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you. Do better.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome. Who's here on Christopher Rivera?
Here, Judge. Front floor.
Yes, come down.
We'll have a seat over there.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
What are you?
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great. All right, so if you all are not reaching an agreement, you're scheduled for trial. So have you all reached an agreement?
No, Judge. We were scheduled for a discovery.
Oh, this says plea deadline date, March 25th. And it says all on February 20th, it says offer tendered, all discovery received.
We have everything out. Judge. We do have everything now. There's one video that we were lacking and we got it. So that you reset it in a week. And so we have everything. We have an offer.
All right, see y'all back at 1:30 for jury trial.
Just, I need to go over the discovery we just got.
All right, it's a video. All right, guys.
And I am scheduled to be gone tomorrow, Judge.
All right, we'll see what happens at 1:30. Thank you. All right, are y'all ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready.
Court is calling 2023 CR 4768 State versus Gaspar Rodriguez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Andrew Harris Edelman.
Defense?
Renee Munoz.
And are you Mr. Gaspar Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yeah, I said that y'all were gonna remove my probation.
No. My question is, did you understand that they filed a motion to revoke against you saying that you did not successfully complete this probation?
Yes,
And did you review that document with your attorney?
yes,
Are you the same Gasper Rodriguez who was placed on community supervision in 2023 CR 4768 for the offense of credit debit card abuse on August 9th, 2023 for a term of 3 years? Is that you?
I thought it was 2 years.
No, you were on probation for 3 years.
Okay,
So are you that same person? State.
In Bear County, Texas, the defendant Gasper Rodriguez did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the month of December 2024 in violation of condition number 4.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
true,
State waives the remaining violation allegations, Judge.
No objection.
All right, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $500 fine? Did you understand?
yes, I didn't know,
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4?
I didn't know about the $500 fine.
Okay. Well, what I'm telling you is I can sentence you up to a $500 fine because that was a part of your original plea bargain agreement.
Okay,
So knowing all of that, one, I can sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility and give you a $500 fine. Do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4?
yes,
Court will find violation of condition number 4 true. Is there proposed agreement?
No, Judge.
State, what are you requesting?
Revoke supervision, assess punishment at 2 years of confinement in the state jail facility.
All right, defense, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, we're respectfully requesting on behalf of my client 18 months in the state jail facility, less than the 2. For the reason being that my client struggles with substance use disorder, namely methamphetamine use. He did, I know the court's aware of, have access to lifetime recovery. He did go and was working the program. However, he did experience a family loss, which kind of led to some of his instability and caused him to leave, Judge. So that's why there's been some sporadic in terms of reporting, and that's not an excuse, Judge, but just some better understanding as to why he may have left that facility. He's in need of help regarding substance use, Judge. In light of that, he does want to take advantage of programs at the state jail. We're requesting that this honorable court could consider as well as an additional consideration, the diligent participation credit being presumptively granted under the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, that if he does well and works those programs in the state jail, a little bit of 20% of his time could be possibly reduced as well, Judge. But for these reasons, that's why we're making this request of the court.
All right, has any restitution been paid? Ms. Abrams, has any restitution
I
been
didn't know there was.
paid in this court or determined that he owed?
No risk.
All right, and has he completed anything on probation? All right. And there, you wanted to say something?
And I went to lifetime, and then I came to court for the criminal trespass, and they restarted my time, and that was also another reason why I left.
Okay. All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to grant the motion. I'll request therapeutic community for him. Give him credit for any time served. There's a $500 fine, time and money run concurrent, and I'll sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
I did.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have, I'm sorry, because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. You do have a limited right to appeal, and that right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations that were in the motion, not the fact that you were on community supervision. Do you understand? All right, sir, good luck to you, okay? All right, who's here on Joseph Juarez? All right. Come forward, Mr. Juarez. All right, so you're still in the flux of discovery, I believe.
Definitely, Judge. It's a complicated
setting.
case, although the state and I have had conversations, we've exchanged certain information, we've made some progress.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a 60-day reset for discovery.
I'm sorry, Judge?
60-day reset for discovery on Juarez.
Yes, ma'am. The 27th, 28th, hold on. That's a holiday. May 27th.
All right, May 27th. Thank you for dressing appropriately for court. Once you sign the reset form, you are excused. All right. So counsel, where are we on this case?
Yes, Judge, I know that the court had some concerns as to psychological state, so we are in receipt of that report as well as furnished to probation department and the state. I believe as per the report, it's saying that she needs something more structured in terms of treatment. I went over that option with my client. She respectfully wants me to ask for time served with regarding her case. She spent some time in custody pending transfer to DDRF. She was at DDRF. She was routed here on a judge's warrant, and she's been here seeing about potential placement, Judge. I notified her that since a motion to revoke had not been issued by the states, that would be maybe an improper request. However, defense counsel does wish to urge this motion for early termination of deferred adjudication, being that she's been in custody for some time, and we feel that merits consideration by the courts in terms of the time spent waiting treatment that she still hasn't received to this point, Judge. So
All right, I'm not inclined to grant early termination or termination, and the reason being is because she really hasn't completed anything. But if there's some documentation that she refuses to sign, then a motion to revoke can be filed.
understood, Judge, and I did explain that with her, so that it would be up to the determination of the court to put a condition of supervision that would be suitable for her and the needs of not only herself and the community. So that would be an option, and if she refused the treatment route, that a motion to revoke could be issued, Judge. So I did go over that as well with her.
All right, so probation, what treatment do you recommend based upon her evaluation? All right, so the court then will alternate amend conditions for safety. And if she does not wish to sign those conditions,
Yes.
then the court will consider a motion to revoke. And if you all want to do that today, we can do that today.
One quick question, Your Honor. Would that be safety special needs in light of her mental health
Yes.
issues? Okay, I just want to clarify. Yes, Your Honor, and I'll speak with my client about that program and what to expect, as well as follow up with the probation office, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, who is here on Samantha Venegas? And this is no application probation. Court is calling 2025 CR 00620 State versus RG Ford. Can I have parties announced?
Jason Garahan for the state, Your Honor.
Your Honor, good morning. Frankie Sandoval on behalf of Miss Ford.
And are you Ms. Ford? Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, we have, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Ford, did you review the indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? Counsel, do you waive the reading?
Yes, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
All right, did you review that admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places? You're charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty of 1 less than 1 gram. That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent. Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
She has, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do, Judge.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Judge.
Ms. Ford, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented? Are you a U.S. citizen? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 155 days in the Bexar County Jail under 1244. There are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense is at the plea?
It is, Judge.
State is at the plea.
It is, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There are not, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plea? State any evidence.
Yes, Your Honor. State exhibit number 1 with all of its attachments.
No objections, Judge.
State, you may be excused.
Thank you,
Did you review the waiver and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would calling the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence state 6-1 and attachments. The court has reviewed the same. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We would ask that, Judge.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, it's been my honor to represent Ms. Ford the last several months. We're here today when the case was filed. We had the opportunity to come in. She accepts full responsibility. And we would ask the court to file the plea bargain agreement.
All right, the court will sentence you to 155 days in the Bexar County Jail under 1244 and give you credit for any time served. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. How old are you?
40.
I'm sorry?
40.
40. All right, here's the thing. Either you're going to get your life together or you're not going to get it together. Either you're going to take advantage of all of the places that are free that we have in San Antonio to help people with drug problems, or you're not. One or two things going to happen to you if you do not accept those opportunities. Either you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison or in somebody's jail, or either somebody's going to be identifying your body. That's what's going to end up happening. So don't cry about it, do something about it. So, those are your choices. Either you want to improve your life or you don't. I don't know anybody who will raise their hand and say, you know what? I want to live in a shed and just do drugs all day. So you're going to have to make changes. Otherwise, those are the two things that are going to end up happening to you. You understand? All right. Good luck to you. Dara Payne.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be
You're welcome.
excused?
Yes.
Off the record, Your Honor,
Yeah.
if we remove the drug portion of that equation and the sheds on the beach, would that be okay?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
Because you know what? The water is going to take that shed away.
Exactly. Global warming, Judge.
Yes.
Thank
All right.
you.
You're welcome. Dara Payne.